Welcome back to Hidden Power. This is a Pokemon podcast. We're live in Boston at PAX East, and today we're talking about shiny Pokemon. This is a topic that on Hidden Power we have actually not discussed in depth. So I'm thrilled to be here with some experts, some shiny hunting experts in the Pokemon community. Yeah, let's do that. I'd love for you guys to all introduce yourselves, and then we'll dive into why shiny Pokemon are so special. Yeah, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm LJ, aka Shiny Collector, and I've been shiny hunting since 2011. So I'm kind of a relic of the community.
Yeah, it's all
Okay, I am Alchemy Sunday, and I do mostly merchandise content, but I do shiny hunt in my spare time, so.
My name is Professor Rex. I'm a Pokemon researcher and shiny hunter, and I've been shiny hunting, I don't know, since like 2020. COVID kind of bumped things up a notch.
Okay. You took it more seriously?
Yeah. Hey, I'm Professor Polytoad. I've been shiny hunting since, I guess, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, but that's when I really started to get into it. But yeah, I'm happy to be here.
What I want to start with is why shiny Pokemon, why people are so compelled by shiny Pokemon, and something else I've noticed, like I think a theme of today will also be that like one of the largest subcultures of the Pokemon video games is shiny hunting, where the company itself, Pokemon, has even embraced it. You don't normally see that. You don't see sub-communities being embraced by the Pokemon company, such as speedrunning, ROM hacks, any of that stuff. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this should be a free-for-all. We don't need to go in a row. We can all kind of interrupt each other, but we got a couple mics here. But yeah, why are shiny Pokemon so special?
You know what? LJ can do that one.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of wanted to just talk about how you mentioned that it's been embraced by the Pokemon company and it's such a huge subculture. Because when I started shiny hunting, like, it was so unknown.
Yeah.
Like 9 out of 10 Pokemon fans didn't even know what a shiny Pokemon was. And I remember even getting a card tin that was promo for the Zoroark movie where they had the shiny Entei, Raikou, and Suicune.
Yes.
And with that card that it had the shiny Pokemon card, there was also an informational card that said, hey, by the way, this is what a shiny Pokemon is, because people didn't know.
That must have been the first time, I think. I did write some notes here. Like, it wasn't shiny Pokemon for the longest time.
Yeah.
I think you can correct me, but I think the piece of trivia is that, like, the fans kind of dubbed shiny Pokemon as such.
Because of how they sparkled in the games. And I don't think it was canonically referred to as shiny Pokemon. The first time I saw it was that card before that movie. And then the first time in-game that they're called shiny Pokemon is in Black and White. A trainer mentions a shiny Krokorok.
That's sick.
So, really cool. Anyways, to go back to topic, though, sorry for hogging the mic here. But to talk about why shiny Pokemon are so special, to me it's the rarity of it. So not to knock method hunting at all, like that's always fun too, and it's for me a nice like change of pace because I do full odds hunt. But I like doing it at full odds so that it's still more rare, and then it's just extra exciting for me to find it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that is something that is real because, like, I've done some full odd hunts. What's up? Yeah, all good. Sorry, I thought maybe that could have been another guest popping in.
I mean, we could ask him to join.
That would be kind of sick. I bet he's shiny hunted. I feel like, so maybe that's something we should maybe establish, right? There's like the shiny Pokemon itself, and then there's the method of obtaining the shiny Pokemon. I guess for me, probably for our listeners on Hidden Power, for me, what I think about when I think about shiny Pokemon, it's really just that promise of, it almost does the same thing as like a legendary Pokemon. It's a heightened rarity, right? When we're talking about like, what are the promises of a Pokemon game, right? Adventure, discovery, right? Finding treasures, making memories. I think shiny Pokemon kind of embody a lot of those things. But yeah, so you do full odds hunting?
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah. What about you guys?
I mean, I'll kind of touch any of them, but like most of my stuff is Gen 3, but in the modern games, I will pick up the shiny charm. I will do method hunts. But on the topic of, like finding treasures or whatever, and the journey that the Pokemon games take you on, I think there's kind of two ways that a lot of people look at shiny Pokemon. And like in comment sections of shiny hunters, you'll get the people who don't understand. They'll be like, oh, like why would you spend all this time doing it? Like it's not even special. Like you could just gen it in,
Yeah.
right? And what they're lacking is the understanding that it's about the journey,
Yeah.
right? It's kind of the difference between building something in creative Minecraft and building something in survival Minecraft, where it's like,
That's a bar. That's a clip.
yeah, like, but like some people don't understand it. They'll just be like, oh,
Yeah.
why would you waste all your time doing it? But it's, I think a lot of time the journey,
Yeah.
and like monkey brain like number go up, monkey brain like
Yeah.
you know, differently colored pixels.
More value.
Yeah.
I'm special. I have meaning in the world.
It's like-
a little bit of that.
It's like gambling, but you're just wasting your time
Yeah.
instead of your time and your
Instead
money.
of your money, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
Not to knock
personally-
TCG heads, but
I personally waste my money on it as well, but
Yeah.
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 You got it, George. Tell us about.
He's like not even on camera. Like he's like off screen.
Hi.
No, you are.
Why do you do it?
Well, at starters, I started doing it because, yeah, it's kind of like a prize, I guess I could look at it, that I spent the time into getting this super rare Pokemon with a different color, and that's how I started to look at it. But now it's something I like to do with my friends, something I want to do when I relax. You know, I like watch a movie, do something, just like watch a show or something. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I do. Yeah. I don't know how much of like an admission this is. Maybe other people will get this, but for me, secretly, I've always seen shiny hunting almost like a fidget.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I'm doing the thing I like, but my hands are not being occupied. Like, what can I do in the meantime? And that usually shiny hunting ends up being a companion to, you know, the entirety of Game of Thrones, the entirety of The Sopranos, whatever it might be, right? Something that I noticed is not coming up is that, like, we're not actually talking about, like, the color scheme, like the color swap of the Pokemon. I did write that down, and I'm realizing we're not even talking about that because it's not about that. It's about the memory or the experience, the journey, right?
Like when you're picking what hunt you'll do, sometimes you will go ahead and be like, look, I'm going to get shiny Rayquaza because Rayquaza has a sick color palette when it's
100%.
shiny, right? But other times it can be like, my favorite Pokemon is Growlithe, and even though the shiny is terrible, I'm still going to hunt it in every generation.
Yeah, that seems like oddly specific for this panel in particular.
I'm mad.
It's a good one. What's wrong with yellow shinies?
Gold.
Yeah, it's a golden shiny. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
So, so for me, I don't really do any. I don't make it difficult for myself. I will use the shiny charm. I will use sandwiches if I can't get it in a certain period of time. For me, it's really, I love collecting, obviously. If you're aware of my content, I just love collecting. And it's a step beyond completing the Pokedex.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to complete a shiny living dex. So it's just kind of an extra step, something else to do once I've already
Totally.
finished it. So.
Yeah, something I've said on the podcast, like something that I'm always thinking about is like, for me, you know, you could criticize the games as much as you want, but what the Pokemon games are for me is it's a gateway. It's like it's literally a gateway into the world, right? It's a role-playing game. I want to be that trainer in the world, so yeah, to extend the gameplay of whatever file you have, that shiny hunting is definitely part of that. You look like you
Sure.
had something to say.
No, I was just messing with the mic.
He's just making extreme eye contact. Oh, I forgot I'm hosting. He's waiting for my cue. Yeah.
I did want to touch on something that Jake Rex over there said about it being about the journey.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, sometimes you do pick for the shiny Pokemon, but a lot of times I pick my shiny hunt based off of a shiny hunt that I want to do. And just because it might be a unique way to go about something or something that I haven't seen anyone or many people do. And it really does end up being about the journey. Even so, especially so.
Oh, dude, you showed me
when
this
you've
last
got
year.
your
you're still
Pokewalkers,
strapped up with these?
every time,
Oh my
every time,
God.
it's always about the journey, and these things literally take me on a journey.
What was the last shiny that you got with your Walker devices?
I got
extremely rare Walker devices.
Snover. My family was down in like a pier in San Diego, just hanging out for the day,
Yeah.
and so we were just walking back and forth, just exploring the place. So I was getting so many encounters
Yeah.
that I think ended up getting like 500 in a day, which for Pokewalkers is
Yeah.
absolutely insane.
Do you want to explain what the Pokewalker is? Because I know what it is, but
Yeah.
I'm realizing a lot of people that don't even grow up with like the pixel games.
Yeah, that's fair. So the Pokewalker is a pedometer accessory that came out with Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver that essentially you can send your Pokemon on a stroll in one of, I think, up to 21 or so different locations. And then you can find encounters there. You can also level up your Pokemon by walking. You can find cool items. But for me in shiny hunting is, yeah, you get encounters, and so you can only get 3 at a time before you have to transfer them off and then do a lot more walking before you can try to catch some more.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a pedometer. It rewards you for walking, and especially rewards you for walking if you're going to try to shiny hunt on them.
It's like the original Pokemon Go. Truly,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say, don't try shiny hunting on them raw. You need to remove shiny lock.
Oh,
Just
okay.
fair warning.
That's fair. No, listen, you said it. Yeah, you said it. Yeah, something else that I was thinking about this earlier when we were talking. I feel like I place a lot of importance on even my non-shiny Pokemon. And I think that's like what a lot of Pokemon fans enjoy. That's why like the National Dex crisis of 2020 or whatever, right, was so. It's kind of funny in hindsight, but you know, like it was a big deal because the promise of a Pokemon game is that like these creatures you can bring up forever. That was a special thing for the Pokemon games. And I still have old Pokemon from like Gen 3 games, not from 2025, but from, 2003 or whatever, right? And those Pokemon are not shiny, but they're special because they have a nickname, because they, I went on whatever the adventure was. They're symbolic. And what I've found for myself, I do a lot of method hunting. I even like just the free giveaways. I can still I have less time to shiny hunt. I mean, I could prioritize it if I wanted to, but I allocate less of my time to shiny hunting, but I still enjoy the shinies because they feel a little bit rarer than just like a regular capture or whatever. So that can I guess I feel like the sentiment can still apply, right, to even non-shiny Pokemon.
Yeah, and it's kind of how you said earlier, comparing it to a legendary encounter. Like, it is this special encounter, and sometimes, and how it's
Legendaries
supposed
are
to be
not
played.
even rare anymore.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and like especially if you get a random shiny, then it really is just this incredible moment of just extreme excitement and. Oh no, I need to find out how I'm going to catch this. You don't even have the same luxury of saving before the battle that you do with a legendary. You just got to cross your fingers and hope.
Yeah.
So it really is an insane moment, especially for a random shiny, that you remember that, and then you take that with you throughout the different games, and it really is special.
Yeah. What was the, let's go around. I want to hear the first shinies all of us encountered growing up.
I was saved. I could have died.
Yeah.
So, and I may or may not be being dramatic.
We gotta plug some merch. And I don't have any fancy music for this, so you guys are just gonna have to sing along, right? But we got new merch on our merch store. This drop is Kalos themed, and it's all about, right, what we're calling it is legendary aura, right? This is the ethereal feeling of being the main character, right? Having that aura, right? As you traverse the streets of Kalos, this is what it's all about. I'm thinking Blade Runner. This is all designed by our friend Noivy. We got all these sick designs, but I'm thinking Blade Runner, sci-fi. Dude, I cannot wait to see the Lumios Tower just run into the streets. We don't even know what time period it's going to be. That's what we're going to talk about next.
I'm a Kalos guy. I think this is nostalgic, but I also think, yeah, this is literally my perfect merch. But I also think it'll be fun to, we'll inevitably make some more ZA focused merch, and it'll be cool to have the two side by side. I'm the kind of guy who I like to, like, that was my favorite thing about Legends Arceus, was looking at Legends Arceus and looking at Diamond and Pearl. And
Sure.
And so I'm excited to see that in our merch as well,
Yes.
I love like the squares with the specific Pokemon.
Yes.
Kalos Pokemon.
So we got some cell phone cases. There's also a design with, on the back, we got the 3 Kalos starters popping out of the 3DS cart. I think this is so
That's
cool.
sick. That's cool.
So link in the description, shop.hiddenpowerpodcast.com. We got sweatshirts, we got phone cases, hats, t-shirts, we got everything. And if you are a channel member or a Patreon supporter, you do have a code for 10% off. So go claim that now. And Toby, are you wearing our merch right now?
One of yours.
That's
It's one of
awesome.
yours.
That was the Christmas drop, dude.
It's a great one.
Yeah, it's a little
Love it.
weirder than the ones that you're currently.
The weird ear horns.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool. It's cool, man. I
Pretty
like
good,
it.
pretty
It's
No, I may or may not be being dramatic.
Oh my god.
I was probably about like 10 or so in the car, left alone as my nan went into the store on a hot summer day. California. Not the best
windows
idea.
are up.
I
like,
believe the windows were up.
suffocating.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Leather seats. It was baking.
No.
And I was grinding in Pokemon Leaf Green. I was doing a solo run with my starter because that's how I played all of my games back then. And I was about to fight Erica's gym. I had a War Turtle, and I was like, I need to level grind. So I was level grinding in that grass patch just to the east of Eckerty, or Celadon City.
Yeah.
And I was like literally on the brink of like passing out. So who knows? And a shiny Pidgey scrolled across. Pidgeezus saved me.
Yeah.
That's the first shiny I remember finding.
Wow. Dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's my first.
That's so good. I mean, that's a good shot. Did you catch it?
I did. It had Whirlwind too. I found out after the fact. So
Oh.
I was
dude.
I was flipping out.
That's scary.
It woke me up. I was like,
Yeah. Imagine
Resurrected.
The whirlwind would have been brutal.
oh my god, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I caught it.
That's
I
good.
carried it with me. It's level 100.
Love it.
So my first shiny was shiny Natu in Fire Red, like the end game of Fire Red.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, what's wrong with this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and then I looked at like Cerebi.
Nice. What a luxury. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I was
Yeah.
Crazy.
I was very confused.
What does it have? Like blue accents?
No.
It's just like slightly different.
It's just a
Slightly lighter green, and then the red turns like slightly orange.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That makes. I remember that.
I'm like very particular with colors and stuff. I'm like
Yeah.
I'm an artist, so like
Yeah.
I notice like I'm very good with like the very small different shinies.
It's a good eye. It's a good eye.
Luckily, my first shiny was not super like, mid. In the coloration.
Yeah. It
But-
wasn't a bird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It was.
mine was a
Lugia.
man.
What is it? What was it?
Metacham. So,
Oh, okay.
So my younger brother and I used
turns
to
blue,
like,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
But we used to beat each other up all the time and fight and scream, and I would lock them in closets.
In the
and-
game or in real
This is in
life?
real life. This is in real
Yeah,
life.
we keep like going
Yeah.
in and out of conscious.
That's because
yeah.
at a certain point it's merged.
Sure.
Yeah, the Pokemon world and the real world.
Yeah.
I really can't differentiate them any
No,
longer.
no,
But
no,
yeah,
no.
we were horrible to each other.
Yeah.
But like if we whipped out the Pokemon cards to sort our binders, boom. Our brains would mind meld.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was like our thing that we did together. So we picked up Pokemon Leaf Green and Pokemon Diamond off of a kid on his school bus. And,
Off of a kid?
Like he bought it off of like just this guy on his
sure,
bus.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about like you said you guys beat each other up and then I was
He-
like,
no,
they
like
beat up this kid to get a copy of.
there was no fight.
Okay.
Yeah. But our
I mean
first
that's like fair when you're a kid, like I wouldn't judge
yeah.
you for that.
Yeah, he's like, no, you like killed the
A little bit,
guy.
I'll judge you a little bit. Yeah. Like after the podcast.
Yeah,
get
so
the
like we did our
content,
first
yeah.
full playthrough of Diamond and Leaf Green side by side.
Sure.
And then we had really locked in on like, yeah, we're gonna catch them all.
Yeah.
So we're walking through Victory Road in Diamond, and the blue Metacham pops up. And a lot of people, I don't really understand it. They're like, I found a differently colored Pokemon and I ran away because I thought it was a glitch. I was like, did you never listen to the theme song?
Well, I'll tell
Gotta
you my
catch 'em
story.
all, right?
I like what you're saying, but I'll tell you my story and then you can.
But I will say
Maybe what
like
you're saying will have a
we
different
we
effect.
were also in a car.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, car shinies.
Car shinies are big.
Car shinies.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I played Pokemon growing up with my brother a lot too. It was really nice since we're both twins, or him and I are twins. You know,
Nice.
He'd get one copy and I'd get the other edition, so it was always perfect and worked out great. When did Diamond and Pearl come out? Was that 2000? Something like that. It was recently just after they came out. And my brother was running through the cave between Jubilife and Floroma Town, and he got a random shiny Zubat.
Wow.
And so I know Zubat might not
Underrated.
be
is a
the
bird.
favorite of some people, but that shiny Zubat will always have a special place in my heart as being the first
that's
one
awesome.
that we ever found together.
Did you nickname it?
I think he nicknamed it Ivory. which
Beautiful.
I
Wow,
think is a
that's
really
nice.
good nickname. I have it sitting in my Pokemon home right now, so
It's like a good vocab word for a kid.
yeah.
I
My-
love that. Yeah.
Better than mine. I just named mine Rare Color. That's what ours is. We have Rare Color. Yeah.
I used to name every single one of my player the OT was always dude in all caps, and I don't know why. I don't know where that originated from, but so I won't judge you on that. Yeah. So my first shiny, and I think the people have heard, but I'll tell you guys, my first shiny was a Caterpie, and I thought my game was glitched, so I reset the game.
But like,
Come on. I think
elaborate on the mindset because you're
I think
supposed to catch them all.
Yeah, but in Generation 2, it's like.
Oh, the screen flashes.
The screen flashes.
Yeah.
It's like crazy. Right. It's like, and you think it's fake.
That was a really good impression.
I know. I've practiced. So like, I really think like, gotta give it to the Gen 2 heads, like the old heads. Like, it does look like a glitch. But you can bully me on this. In Generation 3, the first time I saw Makuhita, it had the red gloves, and it wasn't until I ran away and found another one that had black gloves.
You see, if you were catching them all, you wouldn't have had this problem.
Bro, I was I don't know.
Complete that dex early
I
on.
was a noob.
Yeah.
I was a noob. This is oh my gosh.
It's okay.
The regrets of our past. Oh my
I
God.
failed a shiny recently.
Yeah.
That was like right in front of me, and I had COVID brain fog, and I asked my friend, I was like, yo, what color is shiny Nidorina? And they're like, blue, because they misheard me. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I ran away.
No.
So,
No,
so
dude.
you know what? I'll give you a hard time,
Yeah.
but I can't give anybody too hard of a time.
It's
really.
crazy. I'm trying to think of the last time I failed a shiny. I've probably failed I think a couple in Scarlet and Violet. That's fair. They just despawn.
I'm about
I don't know if that
50-50.
counts. Yeah.
I missed about half of them.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's hold on. I gotta. Yeah.
If we're talking about failed shinies, I was gonna say my last failed shiny
Yeah.
was because my friend Brandon Pragmagic
Yeah.
hopped in my stream, raided me, and I was rizzing him up. And I was so deep in the flirt that I didn't see the shiny Ammonite and reset.
Bro.
And then just barely saw it as I turned and was in the middle of resetting. But I actually did,
Yeah.
while visiting these two out in Canada, and using that man's 30-something time setup, was trying to find two shiny. Oh, yeah, he is crazy.
This man doesn't know.
Yeah, he's Piano Man.
Piano Man. Yeah.
But yeah, so
Billy
we were.
Joel over here.
But we were we were trying to find two shiny Abra in Fire Red Leaf Green at one time because you can get
Nice.
like full boxes.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize until I was editing the video that we did that. Or I mean, we ended up finding it.
Yeah.
But while editing the video, I was like, oh, we did it twice. We just
Yeah.
missed one.
Yeah.
So that was the most recent.
I feel like if you fail a shiny while recording, it's not a fail, because you've still you've gone through the experience, you've captured the existence of it,
Okay.
and now and it's probably even a better story, right?
It is part of the story.
Right. That's honestly how I feel.
I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, LJ hosts an event all about that exact
I do.
experience.
Yeah, Uncatchable Week. No.
Oh yes, yeah.
We didn't do it this year because I've kind of been out of the game, busy with
Yeah.
life a little bit for a moment. But yeah, literally hunting the uncatchable shinies that you can find, but the game
Oh, dude,
doesn't
yeah,
let
I've
you
watched
keep.
these videos. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so sick.
So it's literally about that moment. Like you capture it, you still have it on
Pucciano.
video, you still see it exactly.
Classic.
But it's about finding it, and you at least have that moment forever captured in video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. Isn't this weekend actually Troze weekend or something?
Is there Troze?
Or not? I'm sorry, not Troze.
Rumble?
Rumble, yeah.
I think that was this past
Last
weekend.
weekend.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah.
saw something online and I was like, this weekend, but okay, gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. That's how I feel. What about you, Dev? Like when it comes to shiny Pokemon because I feel like I feel like the Pokemon Company has embraced shiny Pokemon, and I see them. I mean, TCG Pocket, the cards, merchandise. I actually just saw like a little. It was like a shiny Rayquaza figurine or something. I don't know. Like, what's your experience with the shinies with the merch?
Significantly more in the last few years. I mean,
you're seeing it more.
in June and July, we're getting shiny Lucario and shiny Mega Lucario plushies.
Nice.
And they look really, really good. And obviously, with the anime, there's been a ton of shiny Rayquaza and shiny Zygarde. Ton of merchandise of that over the last year. So it's really becoming much more standard.
Yeah.
And like they even did the shiny Rayquaza sitting cutie, which I don't think anybody was anticipating.
No, I'd love to see that. I guess I didn't even think of that. They could do that. They could re-release probably in like 5 years all the sitting cuties, but like the shiny versions. I don't know if they would do that, but
You never know.
I'd buy them all.
Gotta buy 'em all.
Gotta buy them all.
Godspeed.
All right, so maybe we could take it back to the games a little bit. Like, I don't know. For me, something I think about often is, like, shinies are super fun, and slowly over time, as the company has, the games have embraced it and tried to make it more accessible to new players, just to casual players. Not, you guys are pretty hardcore, I feel like. I do feel like there's an opportunity for them to introduce, like, another rarity of a shiny, because I don't think the shiny itself, like, there's no, other than it being other than every Pokemon having an alternate colored form, there's no, like, cohesion that ties each of the shiny, like, the changes together. And I feel like it'd be kind of cool if there was, like, another shiny form that maybe had a higher rarity, that maybe is more cohesive, right? I don't know if it's, like, a specific shade or... I don't know. This is something that I've played around with. I've thought about this, and I'm curious what you guys think.
Yeah, I think that like a second shiny form could be interesting, but they have played around with like the theory of, oh, we'll make like 2 different types of shinies, and we'll like make one more rare
Yes.
with the stars versus the squares and Sword and Shield, which is
You're right.
actually probably my least favorite shiny related feature that they've ever implemented, because what it did to the community specifically is somebody would go and they'd take their shiny and they'd post it on Reddit. And then like the first comment is like, oh, did you get stars or did you get squares? So now it's like, if you got stars, somebody's going to like take that away from you because you got like the less common one or sorry, the more common one. And then like maybe you get that slight extra moment of hype when you have the more rare one. But I mean, I think that if they want us to have that experience, there should be a few Pokemon in each game where it's like, if you really want to have that experience of a crazy hard hunt, just give us some crazy hard hunts.
Yeah.
I made a video about Scarlet Violet on like the top 10 rarest shiny Pokemon.
Links will be in the description.
Sure, yeah. But like, they actually ended up patching a few of the things that made Pokemon super rare. So like Authentic Sinistea was supposed to be a Pokemon that was like, you have this one tier of shiny, and then you have the authentic tier, right? And then they were like, oh yeah, nah, that was a bug that you couldn't get Authentic Sinistea outbreaks. I'm like, it breaks the whole point. Like, if you want to have those tiers of rarity, I don't think we need a second tier of shiny. But I think like things like the Curry Mark make for super interesting
That's
shinies.
what I was going to bring up. The marks are, I kind of just forgot that existed, but that is something that I do think they introduced in the same vein, where it is and you can hunt for marks, independently of a shiny Pokemon.
For sure.
And a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
Do you guys do that?
I don't worry too much about the marks personally, but like I do know that there's some creators who will go like, okay,
Steve does a lot of that.
yeah, I'm gonna get like marked Kilowattrel, and I want this specific mark, and I'm gonna get 1,000 shinies.
Thunderstruck Kilowattrel or whatever. Yeah, I think that's something.
I hate the idea of a different shiny Pokemon.
You do?
I hate it because
You were just looking at me the whole time.
picture this.
Yeah.
You're shiny hunting. You want your shiny Growlithe, but you want a specific version of the shiny Growlithe, and there's 2 now.
Yeah.
Imagine phasing when you're shiny hunting means you get a shiny that's not your goal and you go for another round.
Yeah.
Imagine finding the shiny Pokemon you want, but the wrong shiny of that Pokemon, and you have to phase for multiple shiny
But it's
of the
more
wrong
rare.
shiny.
But it's more rare.
I'm not a fan.
I get you. I guess logistically, I haven't thought that far. But I mean, doesn't that happen with like Pokerus as an example, right? Or it's like you could. I guess I don't know how rare some marks are. Are there any marks that are rarer than a shiny?
I don't think so.
I think like the rarest one is 1 in 1,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So
And
it
you
is
can get like
lower.
Mark Charm
Yeah.
too, though, to help.
Yeah.
But I do like what Jake was saying about having specific Pokemon that might be harder to get. I think that would be great instead of shiny locking. Like, cool, we don't want you hunting starters. We're going to make it an extreme deterrent. But for those that have extreme will and want to go for something crazy like that, we're going to bump those odds up.
Yeah.
And I think that could be a fun way to kind of do a 2-in-1 with having something extra rare, but also them not really wanting people to, by default, spend all of their time hunting
Sure.
that specific thing.
Yeah.
Unless you specifically really want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like for we're the reason why this is appealing to me is because it's more content, right? It is another Pokemon form. Like again, we're all talking about the method of obtaining shinies, but I think for a lot of people, and probably the Pokemon Company, because every Pokemon has a shiny, there's actually 2,000 Pokemon, right? Plus all the forms. Maybe there's 3,000 Pokemon or whatever, right? So for me, if I'm thinking about like another way to add more it's not. I mean, that sounds kind of shallow, but I guess it's also a way for them to maybe like create new color palettes of Pokemon that don't have good shinies. Like imagine think of like a Garchomp. Garchomp, yeah, right. Like what if the Natu was like red, right? If it like if you know what I'm saying, like.
Well,
Everyone jokes Garchomp has a bad shiny.
they kind of did something like that. So they didn't make second shinies, but they did touch up on some shinies, especially around, I think, Gen
Sure.
8 and home.
Combuskin.
Combuskin, they reverted it more back to how it was in Gen 3.
Yeah.
Garchomp, they actually did things to distinguish the shiny from the normal a little bit
Sure.
more, so it's not drastic, but they made it better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Say that again for the mic.
Oh yeah, they gave a cast form with their weather forms, their shinies when Pokemon
So
Home
cool.
came out, which was thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is that one of your favorites?
I do have a personal attachment to cast form, but like starting in doing a lot of the hunts in Gen 3 or the older games, it was
Yeah.
always like, yeah, I do want to do cast form. I would love to get shiny cast form, but then it's like, I can't get the shiny weather form. That's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
So I'm very happy that now that we can have them in Pokemon Home, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
I do hear what you're saying. Something else is that you can't really change, Game Freak's not going to change the shinies too much game to game. I mean, they have changed them. Gligar switches back and forth every single generation, but I can't see them, which I don't know why, but I can't see them changing Garchomps drastically, because then for the people who do like the original shiny or whatever, I don't know, Snorlax is blue. It's a similar blue to base Snorlax. They're not going to change it red, because then it's that's a different Pokemon, If you're playing Gen 7 and then you bring something up to Gen 10 and it's a completely different Pokemon, it looks completely different, I feel like people won't like that at all.
I think I'm going to say something that a lot of Pokemon fans might not agree with, but I think that it's okay if you run out of content. It is okay if there's a limit to how much Pokemon content there is.
I like this guy.
Because I don't know, I'm already overwhelmed. You
Sure.
try to keep up with it, it's impossible.
Yeah.
Right? Joe Cerebi?
Yeah, the poor
Mans
guy.
is a crackhead.
The poor guy.
He's
Yeah.
every time I see him at events,
Don't
his
quote
laptop
us
is
on
out.
that. Yeah.
He's typing. I like Joe. It's
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
friends. Okay, it's all good.
Yeah, yeah.
But to keep everything logged in your mind of everything happening with Pokemon,
Yeah.
there's too much. And we already use about 30, 40, 80% of our brains doing it,
Yeah.
right?
We all have that. You guys saw that that study about the Pokemon brain?
Yeah, the specific part
Yeah.
of the brain.
It's like a
yeah,
Harvard
I think
study or something.
I think mine has grown.
Yeah,
bit by
absolutely,
bit.
yeah.
Where I look back.
All
and
of
was
my
like-
other motor functions have shrunk. Yeah. You have a tumor on the back of your head.
And the other
That's
thing,
what he's hiding with the hat.
the other thing is, if you want that crazy rare shiny or the crazy rare Pokemon, that is why people still go back and shiny hunt in the original
Yes.
games. For me, I started shiny hunting because I love statistics and math. So I was theoretically, what is actually the rarest Pokemon?
Yeah.
And that's why I wrote an 18-page research document on the Safari Zone, and I did 300,000 encounters to get Chansey
Wow.
in Firewood Leaf Green. If you want a crazy hunt to go do, they're out there.
Wow.
If you're willing to go look. I think that if Game Freak just started stuffing them down our throats, I wouldn't actually like it that much. For Legends Arceus, there's one hunt that still sticks out that you cannot boost the odds are in almost any way, which is doing the fossils in the space-time distortions.
Okay.
And that is not a hunt that's stuffed down your throat in any way. They're not telling you oh no, go do the space-time distortions to get Cranidos. Just kind of there.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that nowadays, like sandwiches and a lot of the methods are almost like crammed in our faces of like, yeah, if you want shiny, just make a sandwich.
Yeah.
You'll get 10 of them.
Well, Pokemon knows people. Pokemon
But
knows
they
it's
like
marketable.
it, right? But I feel like what LJ was saying was it's like leave a few hunts for like the people who really want the journey.
Yeah.
My brother and I just finished like a 6-year journey in Pokemon Rumble, and I think that like if the Pokemon took us half an hour to get, there's no story to tell.
Totally, yeah.
Right? Or like for all the rare, like random shinies that we just talked about here, kids that play Scarlet Violet might not have the same sort of story to tell. They're like, yeah, I don't know, I got a Hoppip.
Yeah.
Like 10 minutes into playing Scarlet Violet, I got 3 random shinies. I got Lechonk.
Well,
I hunted for it, but I got Lechonk like.
Yeah. So I
within
guess I
an
think
hour of
about
the
like
game
what the
coming out.
solution is, because like we're seeing Game Freak or whatever, whoever's pulling the lever. It's always damn Masuda, right? It's always Masuda. I'm just kidding. Like, whoa. Yeah. I'm just kidding. I just know he's the scapegoat always. But yeah, I hear what you're saying, and that's why I'm like, well, what's the solution? Would it be that like if they want to keep pushing the shinies, but then maybe there's like, because to me it's not even the shiny that I care about necessarily. It's just like I love this new trend of like limited or well, there's two things. There's the canon shinies. I think that's really interesting, where like the shiny, like the Lucario or the Rayquaza are part of the story, essentially. They are a standalone character, right? Like the shiny Lucario that like Roy has in the anime, right? Like that's sick. And that's like that's him. It's a character. And then I think it's also really cool that there's these like one-of-one legendary versions of regular Pokemon. I think about the new Blood Moon Ursaluna. It's not a shiny, but like canonically it's a one-of-one legend, or a one-of-one Ursaluna that in my mind, in my headcanon, has been elevated to legendary status. And I think that feels related to shinies. Because then I don't know, you can collect so many shinies, have so many duplicates. But I think about like in the games, it's like, how do you make that shiny then more rare? Which I guess you can always go back. But a lot of people, you talk about the youth, there's no way to do that on modern consoles. That's what I'm always yelling about at my audience.
That's
Where
why
are
they
the
need to
ports?
give us Gen 3
Where are
on the
ports?
Switch. Gen 3 on the
I
Switch.
love this guy. Oh my God, yeah.
What were you saying literally 24 hours ago, George?
All I want, I'll be a happy man if we get Gen 3 on the Switch.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
Yeah.
Chat, we have confirmed Gen 3 on the Switch in Pokemon XD and Coliseum.
Beep, beep, beep.
Well, that's pretty
Yep.
It's step.
I'm going to do a hunt in there.
Oh, I'm going to.
But can you?
Philip and I?
Yeah?
Okay.
What?
Like-
What am I joining?
So Philip it's only given on the Switch.
This is how it
because
happens.
None of us can afford to
Okay,
buy
wait.
it.
We'll put a pin in this. Okay.
That's true. Yeah, you have like 20 switches.
I
Yeah.
have 6 right
I
now.
have.
You took a loan out. To
I
get
do
the
think that I have
switches?
4 Switches and a Switch 2 on pre-order.
Wow.
So,
nice. You could
potentially
do it. You could
another
do some
Switch 2 on
multi-hunts.
pre-order.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
I got 2 switches. That's fine.
Yeah, but Coliseum, it's only on the Switch.
Well, you can
that's
waiver
true.
the
Oh my
Switch.
God, yeah.
I know, but LJ, I can't afford more than 1 Switch 2. Where's my money? This guy's not paying us to be here.
I'll buy you a Switch 2.
Whoa!
Okay.
I gave you free
In this
Red Bull.
I'm
not buying him a Switch 2.
They took you in. Yeah. Yeah. They're like, give us that. Do you want some more Red Bull?
They did actually, yeah. They said you can't bring Red Bull into the Red Bull party, but do you want a Red Bull?
Bring this in.
Yeah.
I was like, that's kind of funny though.
Yeah. This podcast is not sponsored by Red Bull, but the Red Bull it's in my veins right now. I've had so much
it
Red
is.
Bull this weekend. It's insane. It's kind of nice.
I'll take a free energy
Yeah,
drink.
I'll take a free Red Bull. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I gave you one, and I was like, I'm not gonna drink all this. And then as soon as I gave it to you, I saw that there were so many on the walls, and I was like, I'll take some.
I'll take a Red Bull.
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about like the canon shine. I just don't know what the solution is. It's like Pokemon shinies will become more and more commercialized, accessible. So I don't know what the solution is long term, right? In Generation 10, right? Like how do you make it more rare?
I think that the sweet spot in terms of like overworld Pokemon and everything, I think that Gen 8 Sword and Shield actually did a really good job of, you had the overworld Pokemon, you had to enter battle to see if it was shiny.
Yeah.
And you also had those rarer encounters that were in those exclamation marks. You like saw the grass rustle and had to go step into it, and you get a different encounter table, and then you could see if those are shiny. And you could have like specific rare Pokemon there. Like I know Larvitar, you can't. Well, until the DLC, you could only find it that way in Gen 8.
Yeah.
So I think that's where you could have some Pokemon that were still kind of rarer. Also, just shinies weren't as common as just overworld shinies in Scarlet Violet. You can find one every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I felt like Sword and Shield really did have a good balance of it.
Yeah.
And you also don't have to worry
was
about
paced
like
out.
missing a shiny. Well, Legends Arceus did a good job of not missing them,
Yeah.
but with Scarlet Violet, like I feel like they just
That feels like a
all
mistake.
around
That
had
feels
the
like a
worst.
mistake.
Yeah.
Like they maybe wanted to.
Had
have
to
it.
be.
Do you think they would ever raise shiny odds, or I guess lower them,
Oh, so
reverse them to what it was
8192?
previously? Yeah.
No.
No.
I don't think they're gonna change them again.
But I think it would be great to just have like the methods feel less invasive.
So
Sure.
I
Maybe you can shut it off. Maybe
yeah.
have a toggle.
Yeah, exactly. And so I've had this idea, like since Gen 6 was out, in Pokemon Black 2, White 2, you had difficulty keys that could make your game easier or harder. They could do the same thing with Shiny Odds. We already have Shiny Charm that makes it easier. Just give us the option to turn it off and on.
Yeah.
And then also have like, I don't know, a Rusty Charm, a Dusty Charm
Dusty charm. I'll take it. I'll take it.
that you can make it 8192, or you could have them both off and just have it at 4096. I think that'd be such an easy way to give people more of an option of how you play your game and how you want shiny Pokemon. Since the shiny Pokemon fandom has spread and become so diverse and people want to find shinies in different ways. Some people want it more rare, some people enjoy method hunting more. I think that having those just kind of 3-tiered options would really give people the best of all worlds to decide.
Yeah, I mean, I think more options are usually the better. That's the solution.
Mm-hmm.
Just give people the opportunity to do whatever they want to do. But I guess I just keep playing in my head and thinking, like, what would the benefit of that? Like, do you think casual fans, like my niece, would care about that? You know?
affect less than 1% of players.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be an easy thing to implement.
Sure.
But would they do it? I don't know. That's just what I wonder.
Please. Masuda, please.
Yeah. yeah. Yeah, I don't want to be scapegoating him. Yeah. It'd be nice to meet him one day at Worlds.
You want to say anything about it? I was just, please.
Yeah, please, Masuda.
Please. Everybody, can we get a please, Masuda?
He's not even directing anymore. yeah. Tochigi, please.
Anyone?
Tochigi, yeah. So shiny locks. How do we feel about shiny locks?
I love to break
Big
locks.
sigh, yeah.
Negative. Look, I have one hot take about locks. One. And that is that when Legends Arceus came out, it was a brand new format for the game. One that we had like really never got to experience as the Pokemon fandom. And the starters were locked, which meant that I never had to see a single tweet or person complaining
A year later.
about how they hadn't started the game
yeah.
looking for their shiny starter. There was none of this briefcase
I'm with you.
nonsense.
I
actually
feel
think,
like
look,
you're missing
every
it.
other lock,
Play the game.
I hate it. Every other lock, I hate it.
Yeah.
But I think that as a community that got to enjoy Legends Arceus when it came out, the starters being locked was actually a good thing.
Yeah.
Because there was no like, OMG spoilers, because I'm only 3 minutes into the game. So, but at the same time, if they were going to do that again, what they could do is like version 1.0, starters are locked. Version 1.1, hey man, go back to your second run through. Now the starters are unlocked.
Yeah.
Right? Because at the end of the day, I just don't want to hear people talking about the briefcase
Yeah.
simulator again. It was brutal. It was
No,
devastating.
100%.
But every other lock,
I didn't know I was
sucks.
allowed to have that opinion. I thought that. I just never voted.
Oh, as a shiny
Yeah.
hunter, I don't think I've ever met somebody
I
that
was like
agrees.
the shiny. Yeah.
But
No, I think it's stupid. It's like play the game that you're supposed to play. And
Look,
I don't even want to.
but then people will be like,
but there is I think it's a Masuda quote where he says, "I don't want people playing or spending their time playing Pokemon hatching eggs." Basically talking about shiny.
yeah, I don't touch
shiny
eggs.
hunters.
I like.
Yeah.
I think the
that
last time I
was,
did
like,
an egg
you
hunt
know.
was 2 years ago for like an event. I did one day. I
Yeah.
got 2 shinies, and I was like,
Yeah.
good. I don't really love riding my bike around in circles.
Yeah.
I'll hold off on that. This guy over here, though, he's a massive Pokemon breeder.
yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't like locks at all. I think everything should be, even in the starters in Legends Arceus. I do think just if you want to do the hunt, I think you should be allowed to do the hunt. Play the game however you want to play the game. If that is running around in circles, hatching eggs, that's your choice to do it. And at the same time, if you're complaining about it, suck it up.
Okay.
Because
so like play it however you want, but don't make it anybody else's problem.
it's your problem for doing that hunt. Suck it up. Because at some point it will happen.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of yappers online who just like act like it's my fault for being excited about the game that I'm playing and sharing about it, right? I'm like, listen, this game's been out for a couple days now. If you're not getting it until Friday, maybe stay offline,
exactly,
right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna be talking about it. We'll be talking about it. It'll be in the thumbnail. You know.
Especially in BDSP, we're like, you're spoiling the game. My brother in Christ. My brother in Arceus.
For a decade.
Yeah. This game it's the exact same game that we've had since
Wait, there's
2007.
an underground?
Whoa. No, I do love breaking shiny locks though, because it makes me feel like a little rebel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
No,
I
think
enjoy
it's
that.
cool.
I enjoy that.
cool.
That's why Alchemy is the only one of us that was invited to Worlds.
I know, exactly, yeah. We're actually just going to blur her out so no one knows. We'll, like, augment her voice so no one knows she's here. Yeah. That's why it's taken you 2 years to get on the podcast. Because I'm not trying to... the Hidden Power was denied access to Worlds, yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
They banned me from
We
Worlds.
talk about leaks.
No, they didn't. No,
yeah,
I'm kidding.
Like, what are the
They denied his spectator.
There's a warrant for my arrest.
Yeah, they're like, we're not putting you on the raffle. We'll pay you to stay home.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think of a good question for Dev, since
You know what?
these guys are
She
beefing.
was talking about it a bit earlier. I'd love to hear like the evolution of shiny Pokemon in the merchandise because they used to be like very coveted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even with like...
That. Look at like with the big Entei and everything from the Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like there's a lot less value to it today. I mean, not with the older stuff. The older stuff's always going to be valuable and increase in value because the vintage collectors are very willing to spend money.
The vintage collectors now are in their late 20s and 30s, and we have adult jobs and adult lives.
Exactly.
Some of us.
But I would
Actually, I don't have a job.
I was like, why'd you look at George? You don't have a mirror.
George has the most adult job.
Oh, you actually, you're just talking to the mic. I forgot.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. What was this?
So say the joke exactly.
The joke exactly the same, and we'll all laugh
the
the same. Yeah. Let's see. So yeah, like the vintage collectors now are late 20s, early 30s, which means that they have adult jobs
Yes.
and real money.
And then
And then unlike some of us.
knock knock. And then he said.
And then I said. And then I said.
And then a
I'm
speedrunner
kidding.
walked into the bar and said.
I'm the one that doesn't have a job. He has an adult job. There we go.
Dude, I love that. Honestly, I love this energy. Podcasting in real life, it hits different. It really does.
Wait.
You're all in 3 dimensions. Yeah.
I'm not doing this again.
Yeah.
Same reason I can't play D&D online. Like, I got so used to playing D&D over the table with my friends,
Yeah.
where 90% of the game is us just, like,
Yeah.
laughing at each other in person. The DM's talking, we're making eye contact. And then, like, you do that over the phone or, like, over
Yeah.
Discord, over Skype or whatever. Sorry, RIP Skype. It's not the same. This is a great energy, though.
Yeah, this is
And
fun.
this is why shiny hunters
Yeah.
lean into IRL hunts.
Yeah.
IRL land hunts. Some of like the most fun hunting I've ever had was like, well, I'm lucky because my brother and I hunt together, which means we get to like
That is cool.
IRL land hunt all
Yeah.
the time. But having like these guys over in what we call the lab to shiny hunt, like that was awesome.
Do you have like a studio, like a space?
Oh, it's the lab.
Where is it? In Canada?
Yeah, it's in Toronto. Yeah.
Damn, I gotta come.
Insert
Yeah.
picture of the.
Please send me a clip. Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
it is pretty crazy.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like this man traveled just.
Yeah, I literally traveled. I was going to Canada for a wedding, but I was like, hey, can I book like 5 extra days? I'm there for a weekend. Can I book a week though?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah,
can
yeah.
hang out at the
3
lab.
times the length of the trip.
Yeah, and I swear, I walked into the lab. Yeah, and 5 hours away. I walked into the lab, and I honestly was just like starstruck. I was just looking around like, I don't even know where to look first. There's all kinds of cool Pokemon stuff, 30-something plus consoles, and I was just in awe. and like some of it's really cool. Like, well, all of it's really cool, but like some of it's but some of it's especially cool because he's got like a Starlight kiosk from like a children's hospital where they have like the GameCube screen in there.
Dude,
and he's got like a Wii kiosk that like they had for.
I was just talking about my orthodontist had one of those, the GameCube kiosks.
Yeah.
So sick.
My dentist still has a kiosk set up.
It's crazy.
If I could afford to go to the dentist, I'd love to go and play on the GameCube.
But he's jobless.
I got no job. But I swear to God, they've had Shaun White running for like 20 years on that thing.
That is sick. I should actually go see if I can cop a copy of that. I'm sure it's somewhere here.
Can I buy that off your dentist? Offer for me.
Anyways, so Dev, shiny Pokemon. We just like derailed again.
No, it's totally fine. I don't know. I feel like for a while the only way to get like shiny merchandise was like lotteries and stuff like that in Japan. Very like rare releases, and now it's kind of like once every few months we get stuff.
Yeah.
Especially like I was saying before, like shiny Rayquaza is everywhere.
Yeah.
They've put out just 2 plushies of that already this year, maybe 3.
Yeah.
So there's a ton at this point.
And I think that's why I look at these Pokemon and I'm like, or the shiny Pokemon, and I'm like, I think in a lot of ways it's just a color variant of something that already exists. So I do feel like at some point they're gonna want to do something where, like they've done regular Rayquaza, they've done shiny Rayquaza, they've done Mega Rayquaza. What's next? Another shiny. I would love, and if maybe it's not every single Pokemon, but if we get more shinies in the games, more canon one-of-one shinies, I'm thinking about like the notch-eared Pichu that used to be like white, the early version of that was white. Imagine if there's just another, like what if it wasn't Black Rayquaza, but what if it was, yes, great example. I mean, that is a form change, but yes, exactly, right. So, and then what I was thinking about is that I think you actually do real-world shiny hunting, where you're not looking for shiny Pokemon, but for like real-life treasures. You know?
I'm essentially a goblin or a
didn't say
crow.
that. Yeah.
Or
You're
also,
Sableye.
like, I always say that I'm just like Trubbish because I collect garbage.
No. What?
Dude, I love Trubbish.
No.
That's so cute.
Cute, especially his anime. His episode in the black white anime.
Yeah.
Bins of garbage.
I have so much respect for you because I feel like you are a one-of-one creator.
Thank you.
Like when I found your account, I was like, this is a thing? I was like, I was mystified. I was like, this is the coolest thing in the world.
Thank you.
So many people are, and it's not copycats like in a bad way, but like, you know, you see something and you go, I want to try that. Oh, I like this. Now it's a community. But I feel like I don't know any other merchandise creators. I don't know. I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah. I came very organically. I moved out of my parents' house and had been purchasing home goods with that in mind,
Yeah.
and then I just started purchasing things and posting them, and like not because of posting them, I was already buying them anyways, and it kind of just worked out that way. So
For me, it reads as like lifestyle.
it is 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I wake up in the morning. My shower is Pokemon. My shampoo bottles are Pokemon. The soap is the toilet paper.
Yeah.
Like everything.
That's so cool.
And like my boyfriend doesn't like Pokemon, so he's just like
That's like my wife.
he
My wife's
he,
like,
he lives in it.
No, you're
he
not
lives
gonna
in
put
it.
that on the wall.
Like I mean, like don't get me wrong. He doesn't dislike it, but like he's not like
Yeah.
he's not me. Which I mean, to be fair, most people are not.
Exactly. Yeah, you're one of one.
Most people are not like, hey,
legend.
we should make every single one of these rooms have 500 Pokemon
I
items
think
in
it's
it.
cool.
People walk into my apartment and they're just like, oh,
You like, what is
oh,
this?
nice.
They're like, I love Digimon.
Like my stepmother came in and she was like, it's so nice that you have all these plushies for your future children. I was like, children?
They're not getting any of this.
It's like, I don't share, actually.
I don't know. I respect it.
Exactly.
I respect it because, and this is totally off topic now, but I respect it because I used to have so much guilt around my love for Pokemon, where it literally was making me I was in a shell of myself out of insecurity, right? And so I look at you and I think, this is awesome. Like, this is how I hope my kids are, where they're just so proud of whatever they do, you know?
I feel like a lot of people have like a time period where they're like, oh, I love it as a child, and then like high school, middle school happens, and then they kind of fade out. I did not have that. I was like, there's pictures of me in high school, like walking around with my DS.
No, 100%, and I respect it.
I'm right there with you. When I was in high school, so I was already shiny hunting at that point. So I had a lot of systems, and at lunch I would bring like 8 DSs and Mario Kart, and I'd be like, friends. And I'd be like, friends, we're going to DS download play. We're playing Mario Kart this lunch. I've got DSs for everybody. Grab one.
Yeah.
So I'm right there with you, bringing DS to school. Maybe I brought too many, and you know, jerk over there is right. I am a nerd, but yeah, I own it.
I respect it, because like I had like my falling out was really just like me deciding to be private about it for like 5 years, you know, or maybe 10. Maybe 15, I don't know. It was a long time.
It's okay.
Yeah, it was
We're
until I
here for
started
you
making
when you-
content where I was like, oh wait, there's other, like, this is fun. Like, everyone loves it. I just gotta be proud of it.
Yeah.
Guys, we're gonna be kicked out in about 5 minutes, so let's, unless there's something else you wanna just talk about, I'd love to hear for you guys to tell our listeners where they can find you and whatever you're plugging.
I don't think I have anything else to talk about. Anyone else
YouTube
specifically?
channels, TikToks,
Right.
wherever your priority is.
Yeah. So thank you for having me on.
Dude, this has been great. We've been talking since last year.
Yeah.
Or I was bugging you since last year.
Nah, I mean, you know, a little bit. Bugs aren't too bad though. I like Caterpie.
yeah.
I wouldn't reset over shiny, but you know, I like
Spinnerack's a little bit
Caterpie.
better. Spinnerack was one of my first shinies. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good
that I
one.
actually caught.
Yeah, you didn't reset over it.
I didn't reset over
Nice.
it. Leaf green. Yeah.
But yeah, so Shiny Collector on YouTube and Twitch. Other social media are pretty similar username, but you find one, you'll find them all.
Yeah.
I am Al Creamy Sunday. I mostly focus on TikTok and Instagram, but I am putting in a lot more effort towards YouTube, so check it out.
Do you, Deb, do you sell stuff? I've been on your website.
I don't.
Okay.
I've been thinking about selling like paintings and stuff.
Oh,
Because
cool. Yeah.
like Pokemon stuff, obviously.
Yes.
But we'll see.
My name is Professor Polytoad. You can find me on YouTube. I do geology content. I recently did a breakdown of the Sinnoh region, discussing like how Hisui would have had to change geologically to become Sinnoh.
Geomorphology.
The geomorphology. I also have a couple videos on like crustals. So Professor Polytoad on YouTube, or P Polytoad on X, and then I'll pass it over to my professor over here.
Professor.
Yeah, so I'm Professor Rex. You can find me at the Professor's Lab or Professor Rex YouTube channel. Mostly focus on YouTube, do a little bit of TikTok here and there, but I post shiny videos as well as story videos. Like the most recent one was my 6-year journey with my brother. Highly recommend checking that one out in Pokemon Rumble. Really nice.
Actually, I think the most recent video was you rented a movie theater to shiny hunt with your friends.
Yeah, my birthday.
The biggest shiny for your birthday, and Professor Polytoad was there. George was there too, actually. And George was there.
Yep.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you guys so much. We're going to go drink some Red Bull. All right.
Nice.
So,
Thank you for having
Links
us.
are in the description.
Thank
Good luck. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I said good luck.
I mean, because they're gonna shiny hunt.
Good luck watching this episode.
You look like a podcaster. Now I'm taking a good look at you.
You got a
That's not what I meant.
So, all right, it is recording. Do you want to be? Yeah. Yeah. You want to be on? Let me get another chair. Deb, you want to sit right here? Thanks for coming.
Oh my god, I love the Sylveon bag. That's so cool.
This is good. There are?
Nah, I like this setup.
George, are you comfortable? Yeah, that's surprising. Okay.
All right, let's hit it. I think we got 1 hour and 4 minutes.
All right.
I'm glad you're here. This is fun. This is perfect.
Thank you
time.
for inviting me.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah.
You'll just hear.
Some people pay extra for that.
I know,
Just
right?
fucking popping bubbles.
That could be. We could put this on Patreon. Anything goes. Yeah, if there's enough swearing. Straight to Patreon.
Everyone take their shoes off.
Yeah. I mean, our shoes are in the frame. All right, let's get into it. Welcome back to Hidden. Hold on. I'm getting my Normally what happens is I record this 10 times and the editor takes care of it. Jesus Christ. All right, here we go.